Jason can be controlling. The way that Jason was raised can at times bring conflict into our marriage. He was raised with traditional 1950s marriage roles. I'm the homemaker and Jason's the breadwinner.
And she gotta call me daddy. She'd be like, I'm not your child, I'm your wife, don't treat me like that, don't talk to me like I'm a kid. But she's not. She's really inexperienced at life, so I be trying to teach her along the way and show her, but I have a different way of doing it, so.
Date the person who tells you to be safe when you go out, not the one who gets mad. Remember, it's a partnership, not ownership.
We are always trying to control the world around us, which is the first step to depression. Many people become confused and easily get upset when a partner or someone close to them accuses them of being controlling. In most cases, we try to dismiss what the other person is saying without giving it a thought of how we are being controlling. It is completely natural to have the desire of controlling what happens around us and in our lives. We are motivated by the desire to make some sense of stability, predictability, and safety in our environment. The healthy aspect of control is being in control of oneself. The desire to control becomes a problem when we start going to the extreme to try to dominate and influence other people to do what we want. An attempt to micromanage the lives of your friends, classmates, colleagues, children, partners, employees, and your students. This desire gets in the way of building a safe, nurturing, trusting, and healthy relationship with other people. You have to give people the chance to make their own decision of who they would like to become and how they would like to go about fulfilling the vision they envision for themselves. We have this great urge to control everything around us because we have a misconception of the fact that if everything was right with the world around us, then we would be fine. This way of thinking is actually really wrong because there are just things we cannot control, but we can accept them as they are. This takes us to a quote by Franklin A.I.
It is easier to put on slippers than to carpet the whole world.
This means that the world has serrated edges which you are trying to make it smooth and soft. You would like the world to be entirely carpeted in order for it to be the right type of place for you to live in, which is totally insane. The amount of time and energy you will put into making a carpet for the world will be for nothing at the end. It is easier to put a carpet on your feet than carpeting the world. We cannot control the outside world, but we can control ourselves. You can use the time and energy you want to use to control everyone around you, to control the things you can control, which are things related to yourself. You can decide either to make a carpet for yourself or not. It is entirely your decision, and no one is supposed to take that away from you. In some cases, the desire to control people around us comes from family backgrounds where there is chaos, and this tends to create controlling individuals. Coming from this background, you tend to do the exact same thing in your relationships. Trying to control everything around you is the cardinal rule of a shame-based system. Shame is a part of being controlling. Shame actually generates and contributes to insecurity and self-doubt. In reality, a controlling person does not feel good about themselves. If you truly felt good about yourself and the life you are living, you would not try to control others. You often feel like, if everyone could just do what I want and see the world the way I do, then everything would be fine for me and everyone else. Unfortunately, this is an unrealistic aspect related to control. You just have to accept the fact that people cannot see the world the way you do, or do things as per how you choose them to do it. Everyone is born to be in charge of their lives. The book of Genesis in the Bible of religious believers clearly makes us understand that everyone is in control of their lives from the beginning of creation. We can see this when God stipulated the roles and duties of everyone in the Garden of Eden in Genesis chapter 1. The animals and humans were all given control over their lives. If God can create humans and still allow them to make their own decisions, it goes a long way to say that taking control of another person's life, how they behave and act, is completely unhealthy and sometimes toxic. You always seek to control others when you are not in full ownership of yourself, a quote by Cicely Tyson. This takes us to the aspect of control coming from your background. Most of the time, you turn to be control freaks when you are being controlled or experienced controlling people in the past. So you turn to pass on the same method of control that was used on you on some other person. You find solace in controlling others when you are being controlled. Typically, you think you are helping unfortunate folks. This is sad because it causes the unfortunate person not to be able to make decisions by their own free will. Seeking to control yourself above everyone else is the first step of gaining ownership of your life. You tend to find peace and calmness when you employ the time and energy you decide to use on others into yourself. This is the 21st century, and even parents now let their children decide by themselves what to do in school as per what they think they are good at. They allow children to make those decisions because trying to over-control a child will make the child not discover his abilities. This can also lead to low self-esteem. When you control and fail, it creates greater problems for you. You feel frustrated and stressed out. It is completely normal for other people to have a different perspective about life, which is different from the way you see life. When you stop trying to control other people, you get to trust that they can make better decisions with their lives. If they can't, that isn't your problem to solve. You have to experience happiness by accepting that you don't have to control everyone and everything, by recognizing that you don't have to be responsible for everyone else, and you don't have to burden yourself with the pressure of always trying to be right and in control. Detaching from other people's actions isn't uncaring. Allowing people to figure out things for themselves is loving and trusting. There will be no more external drain of energy trying to control what you cannot control. You have to live with the fact that there is more than one decent way of solving problems, and it must not necessarily be your way. It is mentally important to focus on your own problems. Always trying to solve everyone's problems is not possible and will end up causing you more stress and broken relationships. Thoughtful Fit is all about focusing on how you can be different, not everyone else. This isn't about changing your boss or your spouse or your neighbor. Only they can do that. All you can do is change yourself. Everything starts with you. Invest more time into yourself than you do on others, because you can only control what happens to you. The highest you can do is try, but you cannot force them to do what you want. So put all the energy, time, and effort into changing yourself as you deem fit, and experience the peace and calmness in your life. Life is peaceful when you can differentiate between what you can control and what you cannot control. It brings more meaning to your life. The things you can control, change them as much as you can, but for those you can't control, learn to accept them the way they are and give your mind some peace. What is the need of keeping yourself worked up on the things you cannot change, even if you try to change them? It is also written in the Bible of religious believers, remove the speck from your eye before removing the one in your brother's eye. When I think about my family background, we were trying to carpet the whole world, not knowing we can make a carpet for our feet. If you grew up like me, you can unlearn this mentality and adopt the idea of making a carpet only for your feet. You can choose how you want to lay down your carpet. That is the advantage of giving up on control. You get to make the choice of how you are going to live your life. It is completely okay for everything not to be right, for us to feel good. You have to accept the things you can't control and change the things you can control. Knowing the difference is the key to your happiness.